Let's continue. So the distance from a point to a line will be given with this formula. And again, when you're given the equation, your equation must be in this form, x, y, and the constant on the left, 0 on the right, or vice versa. Okay? And the point they give you will always be x1, y. All right? So an example would be simply this. If you are given the equation, you want the equation to look maybe like that, right there. That's what you want. And your A would be 3, your B would be -5, your C would be -2. And then you'd plug it into this formula. All right. I don't think I'm going to sit here and do this for you. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'd like you to take this problem, find the distance between the point 0, 2 and the line 4x plus 3y equals 0. And I'm gonna ask you to try sketch it a little bit, just to see what you're kind of looking at. So if I were to sketch that, I would look at the point 0, 2 to be about right there. There's your point. And the line 4x plus 3y, if I want to get a quick sketch of that, I can simply solve it for y. Divide by 3. And now it's in slope-intercept form. Okay, somebody tell me, where do I start on this graph here? Down 4 over 3. So she's reading the slope. She says down 4 over 3 to the right. You're right, but where do I start? What point? No, this is not the point on the line. This is a point. And you want to know the distance from this point to that line. Now remember, because remember this is plus what back here? Plus 0. This is the y-intercept. So you start at 0, 0. And then you do what Sadie said, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right 3. You'd be about here, and here's the line, right here. Okay, so this is what you're doing. You're trying to find the distance between the point, 0, 2, and the line given. Well, here's the distance right here. How far is that? And the nice thing about a sketch is you can kind of almost guess the answer. To me, it looks like a distance of maybe 1 to 2. I should get an answer in that 1 to 2 range, okay? All right, take the formula up there and apply it. Here's the formula. Is this right here in the form we want? Do we want it to look like that? Where 0's on one side, everything else is on the other side?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that it? Okay, because look, this is what I want. I want this, look, x and y on the same side, the constant on the same side, everything on the same side, 0 on the other. So yeah, this is good. We like this. Come over here a little bit. You can say 4x plus 3y plus 0 equals 0. So there's your A. There's your B, and there's your C. And then your x1, y1, well, that would be 0, 2. This is your x1, y1. Okay. Has anybody got an answer? Yes. Yes. Yep, you're good, Gabe. Yes. Okay, I've got about 6, 7 answers already, so I'm just going to kind of fly through it. And everybody had it right, by the way, the ones I looked. So here we go. The distance between here and here would be absolute value of a times x1. Well, a is what? 4 times x1, which is 0, plus 3 times what? y1, 2, plus c, which is 0, so there it is. On top, you're going to get 6 on top. Absolute value of 6 is 6. On the bottom, it's the square root of a squared plus b squared. Well, that's going to be 4 squared, that's a, plus b squared, 3. What'd you get? Right? 25. Square root of 25 is? 5. Now remember when I said the sketch is nice? I think the sketch is nice only because I kind of know if that's 1 unit, I mean that's probably a little bigger than 1, so it's 1 point. This is really 1 point what? What is this? Yeah, this is 1.2. So at least I know I'm in the right ballpark. If I would have got a number like 5, my answer is 5. Just by looking at my picture, I know it's not 5. I did something wrong. So the sketch is kind of nice. Now, do you have to do the sketch? Do you have to do the sketch? No. I like to put a sketch down. I like to kind of have an idea of what I'm looking at. Okay? Are you okay with this formula? The distance from a point to a line. How far are you away from a line? That's all it is. Okay? All right. Take this formula, let's apply it to the next problem. Okay, given the triangle with vertices 0, 0, 1, 5, 3, 1, find the altitude from vertex B to side AC. Find the altitude. Now, when they say find the altitude, they're asking you to find the distance of the altitude. Okay. Now, here's a good one where you should sketch it. I would sketch this, okay? So off to the side somewhere, go sketch your 3 vertices, draw your triangle, put the altitude in, and then let's look at it, okay? Do it as nice and precise as you can because you want to get a good look at it. I know score 10's in there. I'll put that number. Yeah, go. Okay, I did the sketch. I put my 3 vertices down. My altitude, the altitude of a triangle will always be the height of the triangle. So your height will always make a right angle with the base. So here would be your base. So really, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the altitude, the distance. Are you applying the formula previous to the previous slide now? How far is this point away from this line, although it's a line segment, we could make it a line if we just extend it out. So the formula we learned actually works. Okay. Well, what's the problem here? I mean, I can put the formula down. Okay, I can do that, but I have a problem, don't I? Find what? Find A, B, and C, right? So you're gonna have to do what? Find the equation. That's what I wanted you to say. You have to find the equation to this line that kind of cuts right through that line segment. So your job is going to be to write an equation for this line segment, I guess. Is there an easy way to do this one? Well, how? Find the slope and the y-intercept, and they both look to be pretty easy, don't they? So what's the slope in this one? Yeah, it's up 1, it's right 3, so it's 1/3. What's the y-intercept? Yeah, 0. It's right there. It crosses the y-axis right at 0. So this is kind of an easy one, but here's the deal. I just want you to know this. If it's not easy for you, do your point slope. Well, we did this in chapter 1. We would just put in 1/3 right there for slope, and then maybe put in a 0, 0, or you could do a 3, 1, and it would work. Okay? So what is the equation to that line right here? Yeah, y equals 1/3 the slope, x, plus b. B is your y-intercept, so it's plus 0. So really, y equals 1/3. Okay? I'm going to erase the 0. Okay, is that the look you want, though? No, you want everything on one side, 0 on the other. So if I let me move the 1/3 over, it would read this. Negative 1/3 x plus y.
Would it be easier to change it to negative x plus 3y?
Negative x plus, yeah, I was going to go there next. Yeah. Okay, so there it is, right? Plus 0 right here. Now, I don't know if you guys are hearing Peyton, but Peyton said, and she's saying this because she doesn't like the fraction, right? Yeah. So she says, why don't I get rid of the fraction by multiplying this equation by what? Yeah, you could multiply the whole thing by -3 or +3. What'd you pick, Peyton? You did what? Okay. So she does +3. You could do -3 if you want. And this would be negative x plus 3y plus 0 equals 0. And there's your A, there's your B, and there's your C. Okay? And then, of course, you have the point. The point is, it is 1, 5. Okay? So there's the numbers you could work with. Now, Peyton multiplied by 3. You could have multiplied by -3. You could have just stuck with the fractions. If you wanted to stick with the fractions, you could have done that too. Not many people like the fractions. Okay? So I will go with Peyton's number. Okay? A is -1 times 1, which would be the x value of the point, plus what? 3 times, is it 5? Yeah, it's 5. Okay. Plus C, which is 0. Okay. So that gives me what? Yeah, it gives me 14. Yep. Absolute value of 14 is 14 over a squared plus b squared, which would be -1 squared plus 3 squared equals 9 plus 1, 10. There it is. So the distance for your altitude is right here, or if you simplify, rationalize that is, what do you get? Did anybody rationalize?
we talking rationalizes and put the radical on top?
Yep, that's what rationalize is.
14 square root of 10 over 10.
And that reduces to,
That would be 7 square root of 10 over 5.
7 square root of 10
Over 5.
over 5. Yeah, there it is. So you could work with this or this in as your answer, I guess. Okay. Good. Did you get that before I got that, or did I do too much? Who got that before me? Just raise your hand. I got 3. 4. 4 hands went up. That's it. Okay, start talking. What bothered you? You didn't get it, some of you, so tell me what happened. Or do you know what happened? Will, do you know what happened? Because I know I checked yours.
Something with the x and y and the a and b at the top of the formula.
Okay, the AB,
D rule. I messed up there.
right there. Okay. All right, I guess if I'm going to say 4, you got it, and 15 didn't, you got to say to yourself, I see where my mistake is. Peyton picked multiply by 3, which means I worked with her numbers. You might have multiplied by -3. You might have just left that as your A value. If you want to work with fractions, work with fractions. It's up to you. Okay, last one is find the what? Area of the triangle. Somebody say it. What's the area formula for a triangle?
1/2 base.
Okay, half the base times the height. Okay, gotcha. Equals area. Try to get it. That means multiply 3 numbers. Which one do we have right now, by the way? Say it
We
again.
have the height.
We have the height. The altitude is the height. So this is your height. This is your base, correct? So you got to figure out how long is it from here to here? What's the distance from point to point? Remember when I said when you walked in, you'll use these formulas, right? Okay. Who has the base? Distance on the base? Just one person. Okay, hang on, I'm gonna wait. I want at least half you to get the distance. What's the distance? Yep. Did you get it? The distance? Not yet. Okay, Travis, you got it?
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, wait, I got the full area. Yeah.
What is the distance? Still working on it? Good. Distance. Base, yes. Okay. Yep. I'm just looking for the base, that's all I'm looking for. Yes, okay. I got about half the room that has it. You guys must be too nervous to say your answer because you all had it right. Okay, what's the base? How long is the base? Well, it's from here to here, right? From there to there. Well, the distance formula says take the square root of x. Let's do the x's, I guess. x2 minus x1. Well, that'd be, this point here is 3, 1. So 3 minus 0 squared plus 1 minus 0 squared, which is 3 squared 9, which is 1 squared 1, which is 10. It's the square root of 10. Half the room had that answer. Okay? This is over 1. Multiply. What's the square root of 10 times the square root of 10? 10. 10 times 7. 70 over 10. The answer is what? 7 square units. Okay. 7 square units. Good? So, here's the deal. Slope, it's important that you know how to find slope. Point slope form will help you write equations. Although your equation here was really pretty easy because you could count the slope, you saw the line or stuff. Distance formula, that came in handy when we had to figure out the base. Okay? And that's it. You can just keep working on yesterday's assignment or now get going on today's. And then I thought at 11:30, thanks, Peyton, we will go to this. I have a pretty good one. Yes, you can use the formula sheets on the test. Otherwise, you'd be trying to remember it a lot. Formula sheets, don't lose them, please. Keep them until June, because June 1st or May 31st is your final. Don't lose it. Yeah, okay, so when you were out there, I did say, this is nice, even though you probably won't. Sylvia, did you copy this? Did you hear me say pi? Okay, good? All right, I'll just circle around and make sure you're doing okay.